Salutations, shitheels. Apologies. You're not shitheels. But if you are shitheels, I'm your man for it. Which, no, that does not mean that I want you to kick me in the ass. In fact, I take it back. I don't know what it means. Automatic here for Automatic Games. Right out the gate, I gotta say thanks for watching. If you're watching this and you didn't watch the series, this won't make sense. But whatever. If you did watch the series and you're watching this is a recap episode. Kind of discuss some of the characters we saw, because Brian Wilks is not a character to spend too much time thinking about. Having said that, here he is on Bar Island. One thing I want to clear up is I was asked in the last episode where Brian finds Sam, he calls her Isabel. Was that a mistake? Yes and no. It was a mistake for Brian to say that, but the script wasn't mistaken. He was supposed to say that. But yeah, it's just indicative of the crush he has on Isabel, which is, of course, unreciprocated love. And what he feels for Isabel, Sam feels for him. But Sam's way of displaying her feeling, I guess he's got a thing for girls that want to build secret armies. That's what it is. Because, you had Isabel with the robots and now Sam with the synths. So, Brian's got some things to sort out. Let's talk about some of the ancillary characters. In episode 2, we were introduced to Buck, portrayed by Codsworth with a paint job and using the vanilla voice. He worked out just fine for me. Interesting enough, Brian Wilks didn't quite lament his death. He didn't mention him after the Battle of the Co-op, where he presumably was destroyed. But that's a testament to Brian's character, I think. In episode 3, we met Jericho. Jericho knows more fine swear words than anyone you'll ever meet. And of course, he comes from Fallout 3. I had fun doing Jericho's voice. Yeah, he's kind of just cool. He's a temperamental old man, and he takes out his frustrations on his terminal. And, he's not very nice to Brian, but maybe he knows Brian quite well. We'll see more of Jericho. And, yeah, what the fuck? I don't know, that wasn't me just saying that. That was me trying his voice again. Anyhow, we also met Isabel that episode. Isabel was voiced by J-Bone, who did several of the female voices, and I'm very grateful to her for doing that. She does a great job. Anyhow, you know who Isabel's alter ego is by now. And what will come of that, either we'll find out, but in the meantime you can just fall back on whatever your character did to Isabel. Next character was introduced in episode 4 and is courtesy of Brylight35, who has his own YouTube channel. Check it out. Bryker he ended up doing everything that the character Mother, was slated to do. And that created kind of a subconscious rivalry between he and Mother, which I really enjoyed. Bryker, I say he first appeared in episode 4, but really he was in episodes 1, 2, and 3. He was just in the background, kind of hard to spot, stalking Brian Wilks, but a very dark presence, scary guy, until he opens his mouth for the first time in episode 4, in which he says, I've been following the man who calls himself Professor for 3 days now. Well, he's always called himself Professor. I've been following him for 3 days. Dr. Gill. He is truly the founder of the Co-op, which existed before Brian Wilks got to the Commonwealth, but Wilks would have never told you that. His resume looks better saying he's the founder. Anyhow, Gill the voice was definitely President Obama's voice, and that's not a political comment. It's just a voice I could kind of do. My favorite resident of the Co-op is Securitron Jr., simply named Junior by the residents. he's like the new Vegas nod. He's great. He just needs a tire, but this works. The gravestone was, of course, the gravestone of Bloody Fork, who was the traitor in the Hefty Satchel series, my first series. Chuck. Well, we saw some of Chuck's squad mates dead, but we're not sure what happened to him. We just know that they definitely got into a fight. And Jack. Well, Brian does want to find Jack, and who knows where Jack is, or if he's scared, or if he's shutting down Synths like his surrogate mother. Yes, we met Sam in the dream sequence first, and she's a dream, but she's also a nightmare. She has an assaultron vocal pattern, as she puts it, and she's shutting down Synths so she can reactivate them to be an army for the man she wants to impress. Yeah. I'm glad we got to meet the Watermaker, who we originally met in the Hefty Satchel series, but it was fun to have him come back and give him a voice. He's definitely got the voice of like a medieval fantasy mentor or something. And I gotta thank Jimmy Stewart for doing the voice for Miles there. And Bryker killed him. And what can you do? I liked Miles, though. And Deezer. You all knew he sold lemonade, but did you know he had a self-destruct sequence when life hands him lemons? Maybe that's why the lemonade's not made of lemons. He reserves those for Big Boom. And I'm glad we got to meet Knight Captain Oliver, who was referred to back when he was a Knight Sergeant during the early Durga episodes. So it was good to finally see him and hear his Texas accent. And we got to meet the Pimp Slim, proprietor of the Boathouse Brothel, a soft-spoken man, but in no way a victim. He's a pimp. And one of his working girls. Obviously, she is played by Kate, and this will be the second role that Kate played. But we don't know her name yet. Right now, I'll just refer to her as Working Girl. And if you can't infer what she does from that or from the brothel, then God bless you. Lastly, there's Captain Pegleg, who doesn't have any prosthetics. But, he's definitely a smoker. Anyhow, yeah, Pegleg was probably one of my favorites. So this brings us to the next series. Now, I'll be going on vacation in about a week, so it might be a week and a half or so until you see another video from me. Now, I hate to solicit comments, that's a free will thing, but if you don't mind giving me a little input, I want to know who you think the next series should be about, because I honestly can't decide. Our first option is Jericho. Well, he's an old guy, but he's still got some fight left in him. And because of the visit he just received from that working girl, he's about to get wrapped up in some real shit. This means taking contracts that he's reluctant to take because he's a sucker for that girl and for Vice. So, yeah, that's option one. Option 2 is revisiting the second series by going back to Autumn Durga. Knight Commander Durga would be focused on finding the Mechanist. That seems to be the pressing issue for the Brotherhood at the time. She'll do this also through proxies and subordinates such as Knight Captain Oliver and Knight Captain Sturgis, among others. And of course that would pit her against Isabel, and so yeah, that's option number 2. Option number 3 is the recently introduced Ray, who we revealed is the lone survivor in this series. Might be older than you'd expect for the lone survivor. But if we chose Ray for the next series, his group would focus on exploring other vaults, and would probably do some flashbacks of his time with the Minutemen and Preston Garvey, Captain Pegleg, etc. But Ray would be an interesting one. He's option number 3. Option number 4 would be Mother. Currently, she remains shrouded in mystery. We know that she is, in rank-wise, just above Bryker. Now, if we followed her, we would be hunting escaped synths, which of course includes Hefty Satchel. And then Brian Wilks isn't quite off of her radar. We'd also learn more about her backstory and figure out what her motives are. So yeah, this high-ranking Mother, and I don't know if that means she's Sean's mother or Sean's mistress or just someone who impressed the Institute. She's option number 4. And yeah, I'm going to give an option number 5 since I just mentioned him. Here we are at Hefty Satchel's burial scaffold, where he and his mistress were laid to rest. Bryker's there because he believes that Hefty is a escaped synth. And sure enough, he only finds the female remains. No sign of Satchel. But you know that pisses him off. Thanks for watching, and if you don't mind a little feedback, tell me what you think. Jericho, Durga, Ray, Mother, or Hefty Satchel?